Hey, what's up everyone? Alright, I wanted to do a video on what to bring for Artist Alley. Prepping for WonderCon, but the goal is to do a video that covers all the stuff that I bring to the show in terms of supplies for drawing in Artist Alley, signing, and whatever, just some sort of survival gear. I'll say a few things that aren't pictured too, but anyway, give you a quick overview. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you bring your paperwork. Make sure you've done your paperwork. It can be really confusing. The stuff drags out for months before the show. So anyway, I have my exhibitor badge, pro badge, and then the orange sheet is my California seller's permit. So anyway, make sure you have your paperwork. Very important. And again, stay on top of like dates for when stuff is due. When do you have to have your are you gonna have adult material at your table? Do you need to order extra chairs? Whatever it is, like there's deadlines for like all this stuff, and it's usually like say 2 to 5 different things you're gonna do. So anyway, art stuff. Always bring a rag and paper towels. You don't have to bring a ton, but you definitely want something that you're going to be able to like either wipe up the table if you have a drink that puts condensation on the table. You don't want to be running art through it, prints. If you're doing a sketch for someone, their sketchbook goes in it. So yeah, you want to be careful because odds are at some point you're going to have a cold beverage brought to you, water or iced coffee or iced tea or something. And yeah, you don't want to make a mess. Okay, so I also bring food. I'm bringing beef jerky this year. I've never actually brought beef jerky before, but usually I'll bring nuts, a Cliff Bar for each day. I bring cough drops, water, and Gatorade too, just because like talking for 3 to 5 days can really kind of tear up your throat. And so me being a singer, I have sort of like I have things that I know that I can do to sort of like keep my voice like hydrated to a certain extent. So anyway, so Gatorade, water, I bring one every day. I try to eat breakfast in the morning before I go into the show, which I used to never do. So this year I brought a banana and an apple for every day that I'll have in the hotel room that I can just sort of eat like before I split. But yeah, my old habit was I would literally go to the show, not eat or drink all day. Well, maybe drink, yeah, it was really dumb, and a couple times it kicked my ass, like at night. Like I'd go out to dinner with people and just not feel good because it was like my body had just been starved all day, and you work hard too. So anyway, signing pens. Depending on how many things you might sign, you should bring them. Some fans will bring them up to you, but I usually have silver, gold, or bronze, and then some black and red. Red generally is more for like sketching. If I want to put red on a costume, I like the Sharpie red. It's pretty red, and the thickness of the Sharpie will lay it down pretty fast if it's like a costume. But yeah, I mean, these pens can dry out pretty fast, and you don't want to mess up someone's book. And generally what I'll do is I'll look at the colors on the book, and if gold will look better, I'll sign it in gold, and if silver would look better, I'll sign it in silver. So I actually do put a little thought into it. I don't just like sign things. So yeah, okay, in terms of drawing stuff, you want to bring a pencil. Oh, sharpener. That was what I didn't have in the last video. Anyway, I have a drafting sharpener. It's around here somewhere. Let's see if I can spot it really quick. It's like one of those... sorry, I've got kind of stuff all moved around right now. Anyway, you've seen pencil sharpeners, but you want to definitely bring like some sort of sharpener for whatever lead you're bringing. I usually will bring 2 types of erasers. I'll bring one of these, different sizes. I have a thinner one too. I like this one because it's very, very soft, and I can remove sort of bigger areas with it. I got my little Japanese peppermint erasers that I love. I think that's upside down. Yeah, just there's versions of this that have thinner tips on it. So I'll bring one of those too. These are brush pens that are markers, so I can chuck them. But this is sort of like the equivalent, basically, of like, it's somewhere between a Sharpie and a fancy brush pen. I'm going to bring my Sakura brush pen. I need to check it and load it and make sure which one I have. I have 2, and one's kind of better than the other. And then these are multi-liners. Okay, so my rapidographs, this is a little deceiving. They're not the colors that they actually indicate on them. So this is actually the beige pen. This one right here is really the beige pen. So this is a, what's the size? It's a 2.25. Anyway, the one next to it is actually yellow pen. This is actually the dark brown. This is the red one, and then this is gray. So I just have them in different containers. Microns. I do bring microns. Microns are very, very good to do con sketches with. The 8 is great for sort of exterior lines. So I bring a few 8s just to make sure they're juicy. 1s, 2s, .005s. There's a 03 and a 05. I'd bring as many as you like. Refill cartridges for these multi-liners. I bring one French curve, one straight edge, a circle template, and then an ellipse, just in case, because me being an inker, sometimes people will come up to me with like, hey, can you ink this like David Finch sketch or something, and they may have used templates beforehand, and it's not to say that they always drew it at that show. Some people just bring pencil drawings that they've picked up elsewhere, and they'll want, want you to ink them, so you never know what you're going to kind of come across. If I'm drawing myself, I generally will freehand it, but just in case. But yeah, you want a straight edge for like speed lines, and the curved one, same deal, or any kind of like long arcing lines. Sometimes pencilers will throw like, like an effect in the background that are very easy to do in pencil, but in ink, you're going to want to commit to it. I bring a toothbrush for splatter. Ink, of course. Okay, my white ink. People had asked me about this in one of the other videos in terms of how do I lay down thin white lines. So the white that I really use is this. I use the Aero Flash. Who is that? Sorry, the phone was ringing in the other room. I just want to make sure it wasn't something important. But I'm out of it. This is empty, so I'm going to bring the Pro White in that bottle. But yeah, normally I just use the opaque Aero Flash. It's liquidy enough where it'll flow off a 102. So that's what I use. I use a Crow Quill in that when I'm putting down my whites, or a brush. But for the finer detail stuff, I'll just use a Crow Quill on that. And you can do it with the Pro White too. It usually will be a little thicker, so you're going to thin it out a little bit. But once you get a texture where it flows, you're good to go. So yeah. This is what I bring. Oh, and then these Copics. So I have this case, and then this fancy carrying case that I got called the bag, and I have a ton in here. So I'll kind of go through and pick colors. I'm not going to bring all these to the show because honestly, I'm kind of on the fence if I'm going to sketch at this show. I think. Maybe 1 or 2 a day, but I don't want to sit and draw all day because it just kind of shuts me down for actually interacting with people at the table. Since I kind of manage the table by myself, it's kind of weird. Like if I draw, everything stops. Not on my end. It's just people see you drawing, they don't want to disturb you. You get less people coming by your table. But if you're there, you're attentive, you're standing. They come up, they want to talk, and they'll buy stuff, and it just keeps things moving. So drawing at the show, it's got its ups and downs. You're going to have to weigh that option on you in terms of like what you're going to do. Now, if you have a big table that you've bought and you've spent $2 or $3 grand on a space, you've got 2 people behind the table working with you, then yeah, you can draw and they can sell. But if you're flying solo, you'll have to just kind of play it by ear of what you think you can manage. But yeah, so that's really everything that I'm going to bring to WonderCon, and I think that this is a very, very good idea of what you're going to need. Oh, and that's just a lanyard for a badge. I won't bring that, but you will eventually get your badges, and they will be on those. Tape, very important. I bring Scotch and drafting tape. Scissors, I think I have somewhere over here. Maybe I didn't put them up. I've got a display case that I can hang prints on. Not like one of the huge ones that sits behind you, but like almost like something you would put in like a bathroom. You can build it up in like cubes. They're cubes, maybe like 13 by 13 inches. And depending on the height regulation at the show, you can sometimes go up 3 or 4. And other shows, they're like San Diego Comic-Con, you can only go 2 high. It's ridiculous. They've got setups there that are gigantic, and they go through Artist Alley, and they make you have like a 3-foot tall like thing on your table, or it could cause a problem. It's really silly. Yeah, you probably are going to want to get a banner at some point if you're at that level where one, you've got, probably $100 to $250 to get a banner. and you'll bring that to the show, put it up behind you, and you know, clearly list that stuff is for sale. You know, I think that's very, very important, that when people come up, they know, okay, prints are $10 or they're $20 or they're $100 or whatever they are. Then if you're selling art, same deal. If you're doing sketches, have the number right up there. You know, it just makes things very, very easy. And then I bring a real brush too. So this one right here, and this is a Raphael. I may not bring this exact brush today, but I just threw that one up there just to have it as an example. But yeah, that covers pretty much everything I'm going to bring to the show. Very full backpack, but you know, you want to be prepared. I also bring some of these little cups. I'll show you right here. These, like this kind of thing. I'll bring like 2 or 3 of those for black ink, water, or white if I need it. Then I can always throw them away before I leave. And you know, your bottle of water will come in handy for that too, because you've immediately got something that you can clean your brush with using the water and then those little cups. All right, I hope this helps you. Come back to this occasionally, because you know what I did? And the reason I did this again is my old video was like corrupted. I don't know what is wrong with it, but there's one from like 2016 or 2015, and YouTube offered me like sort of an auto stabilization function on it, because I recorded with my old camera, and I did it, and the video used to look fine, but I watched it last night. It was a mess. It's like laggy and just weird. But what was funny is I actually went and took screenshots of my list, because I had printed out a list of everything that I bring to the show. Everything, like granny cart, the whole 9 yards. And I actually, to bring this stuff in, you know, because like if you have 3 or 4 boxes of prints or a couple of portfolios and you're by yourself, you're going to need some way to carry stuff in. So anyway, yeah, I have a granny cart that I use to bring everything in. Yeah, it was funny. So these videos will come in handy, so you can always come back and check this out later. You know, like you can use it now, you can use it 2 years from now, whenever you need it, it's going to be here. So yeah, and this is way more than I would ever use in a day at home. Like if I was working on like a professional job, I would never need this much stuff. But you know, you want to be prepared. It's not that much to carry, all things considered. And again, I'm going to strip down the Copics a bit, so there won't be that many. But okay, cool. Thanks for tuning in. And I may have one more video a little bit later today, so stay tuned and you can see what that is going to be. All right, talk to you later. Bye.